My name is Rennie Foster. I'm 32 years old, and 3 weeks ago I became a widow. The night my husband died, I called my mother, sobbing so hard I could barely form words. She said, "Sweetheart, we're right in the middle of Chelsea's birthday brunch. Can this possibly wait?" It couldn't. My husband was gone. But apparently my sister's mimosas mattered more in that moment than my entire life falling apart. 3 days later, my parents showed up at my front door, not to grieve with me, but to demand half of everything Marcus had left behind. They said I couldn't be trusted with that kind of money. They said my sister needed it more. They said family takes care of family. But when my 7-year-old daughter walked up and handed them a small white envelope and asked, "Is this why you came?" everything in that room changed. Inside was a letter from my late husband, and by the time they finished reading it, their hands were shaking. Before I tell you exactly what was written on those pages, if you believe people should stand up for themselves when family crosses a line like this, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. I genuinely love knowing this story is reaching people all over the world. Let me take you back to the night it all started. It was a Saturday evening in early September. I was folding laundry in the living room while Lily watched cartoons upstairs. Marcus had gone to pick up groceries, a quick run, 20 minutes round trip at most. He'd kissed me at the door on his way out. "Need anything else?" he'd asked. I'd laughed. "Just you, back safe." Those were the last words I ever said to him. My phone rang at 6:41 p.m., an unknown number. I almost let it go to voicemail. "Mrs. Foster?" A woman's voice, professional, gentle. "This is Ridgeview Memorial Hospital. I'm calling about your husband, Marcus Foster." The laundry basket slipped out of my hands. "There was an accident on Route 9. A driver ran a red light. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Foster, but your husband didn't survive." I don't remember what I said after that. I think I screamed. I know I dropped the phone. Lily came running down the stairs, her face pale with fear. "Mommy? Mommy, what's wrong?" I couldn't answer her. I could barely breathe. With shaking hands, I picked the phone back up and called my parents. They would know what to do. They had to come. They had to come. My mother answered on the third ring. I could hear music in the background, laughter, the clink of glasses. "Rennie," she said, her voice bright. "Sweetheart, what is it?" "Mom," my voice cracked. "Marcus, Honey, we're right in the middle of Chelsea's birthday brunch. Can this possibly wait?" I tried again. "Mom, Marcus is dead." There was a pause. 2 full seconds of silence. "Oh, honey, that's terrible," she said, her tone shifting only slightly. "But we're with guests right now. We'll call you tomorrow, okay?" I heard my father's voice faintly in the background. "Everything okay?" My mother replied, "It's Rennie, nothing urgent." The line went dead. I sat down on the kitchen floor, phone still pressed against my ear, and felt something inside me break that had absolutely nothing to do with Marcus's death. The funeral was 4 days later, a Tuesday. I stood at the front of the chapel, one hand gripping Lily's small fingers, the other resting on the polished wood of Marcus's casket. The room was full, his coworkers, his college friends, neighbors we'd known for years, people who cared, people who showed up, but not my parents, not my sister. Lily looked up at me with wide, confused eyes. "Mommy, where's Grandma and Grandpa?" I swallowed hard. "They're busy, sweetheart." "But Daddy died." "I know, baby." She didn't ask again. At 7 years old, she already understood more than she had to have. Marcus's boss, Mr. Alden, came over during the reception afterward. He shook my hand firmly, his eyes red-rimmed. "He talked about you and Lily every single day. He was so proud of you both, and he made sure everything was set up so you'd be okay." I nodded, unable to trust my voice. "If you need anything, anything at all, you call me." That night, after everyone had left and Lily had finally fallen asleep, I checked my phone. 5 missed calls, all from friends offering help, none from my family. But there was one text message from my sister, sent at 11:52 p.m. "Hey sis, heard about Marcus. That's rough. Call me when you're free." I stared at the message. Rough. Like Marcus dying was a bad day at the office. Like losing the love of my life was just an inconvenience for her to acknowledge in passing. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened Instagram. Chelsea's stories were still up from the weekend, photos from her birthday brunch, champagne flutes raised, the caption reading, "Blessed with family." I closed the app and cried myself to sleep on Marcus's side of the bed. The next morning, I forced myself to sit down at the kitchen table with Marcus's laptop and face reality. Bills, bank accounts, insurance papers. Marcus had always handled our finances, not because I couldn't, but because he genuinely enjoyed it. Now I had to figure everything out alone, and the numbers swam in front of my eyes. The house was paid off. Marcus had insisted on that years earlier. "If anything ever happens to me," he'd said once, half joking, "at least you'll have a roof over your head." I'd laughed then. It wasn't funny anymore. There was $190,000 in savings, a life insurance policy worth $520,000, investment accounts I didn't fully understand, and a college fund for Lily that Marcus had been contributing to the day she was born. I'd never managed this much money in my life. For 6 years, I'd been a stay-at-home mother, a choice we'd made together since Marcus's job paid well and Lily needed me home. But looking at these numbers now, I felt completely overwhelmed. My phone buzzed. A text from Chelsea. "Seriously, call me." Another notification followed. An email from David Kessler, a law firm downtown. Subject line, "Estate of Marcus Allen Foster." I opened it with trembling hands. "Dear Mrs. Foster, I am the executor of your husband's will. Marcus retained our services 6 months ago to ensure his estate was properly managed. Please schedule an appointment at your earliest convenience to discuss the terms of his estate. Sincerely, David Kessler, ESQ." 6 months ago. Marcus had planned this 6 months before he died and never once mentioned it. I stared at the email for a long time. What else had he prepared? What else had he known? 3 days after the funeral, the doorbell rang at 10 in the morning. I wasn't expecting anyone. Lily was upstairs in her room drawing pictures of her father. Her therapist had said it might help her process everything. I wiped my hands on my jeans and opened the door. My parents stood on the porch. Chelsea stood behind them, holding a coffee cup from the corner cafe. "Rennie," my mother stepped forward and pulled me into a brief hug, her perfume overwhelming. "We're so sorry we couldn't make it to the funeral, dear. Chelsea's event was already planned, you understand?" I stood there frozen. The funeral was 4 days ago. "I know, sweetheart, but we're here now." She walked past me into the house like she owned it. My father followed, giving my shoulder an awkward pat on his way by. Chelsea trailed behind, her eyes scanning the living room. Nice place. Marcus really did well for himself. I closed the door and turned to face all 3 of them, my heart pounding. "What are you doing here?" "We came to see you," my mother said, settling on the couch. My father sat down in Marcus's chair. I wanted to tell him to move. The words stuck in my throat. "Where's Lily?" Chelsea asked. "Upstairs, drawing." "Poor thing," my mother said. "This must be so hard for her." I waited. Something felt wrong. They weren't here to comfort me. The air in the room was too thick with tension, too deliberate. My father cleared his throat. "Rennie, we need to talk about Marcus's estate." There it was. My mother leaned forward. "You're still young, honey. Managing that much money is complicated. We think it's best if we help." Chelsea added, "Yeah, sis, you've never worked in finance. We just want to make sure Lily's future is secure." I felt my hands curl into fists. My father reached into his briefcase and pulled out a folder, setting it down on the coffee table between us. "We consulted a lawyer," he said. "As your parents, we have the right to contest the will if we believe you're not capable of managing it responsibly."
My mouth dried. My mother's voice stayed gentle, reasonable. "We're not being greedy, Rennie, but half should go to family, to help Chelsea launch her business and to secure our retirement."
I looked at Chelsea. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "I've been working on this startup for 2 years," she said quietly. "This is my shot." "You want half?" My voice sounded hollow. "Half of what Marcus left for Lily and me?" My father sighed. "Don't be dramatic. You'll still have plenty, and we're family. We take care of each other." I thought of the phone call. Can this wait? I thought of the funeral they'd missed. I thought of the birthday brunch, the champagne, the hashtags about being blessed. This was what family meant to them. I stood up. "I need time to think." My mother's expression tightened just slightly. "Of course, dear, but don't take too long. Chelsea's investors are waiting." My father tucked the folder back into his briefcase. "We'll give you a week, but Rennie, be reasonable about this. We're only trying to help." They stood to leave. Chelsea paused at the door. "I really am sorry about Marcus," she said. The words sounded rehearsed. I didn't respond. After they left, I locked the door and leaned against it. Upstairs, I heard Lily's footsteps creak across the floor, her small voice narrating whatever she was drawing. I thought of Marcus, of the email from the lawyer, of something he'd said once, years earlier after a tense holiday with my family. "If anything ever happens to me, don't let anyone take what's yours and Lily's. I've made sure of it." I picked up my phone and called Mr. Kessler. The calls started the next day. My mother called at 9, then again at noon, then at 3, then 5, then 7. I let every single one go to voicemail. Chelsea sent texts. "Hey, have you thought about what we discussed?" Then, "We're just trying to look out for you." Then, "Don't shut us out, Rennie." My father left a voicemail on the second day, his voice stern. "Rennie, this is getting ridiculous. We're trying to help you. Call us back." I didn't. I was scheduled to meet Mr. Kessler on Friday. 3 more days. I could hold out 3 more days. Lily noticed. "Mommy, why does Grandma keep calling so much?" I knelt down to her level. "They just want to check on us, baby." She tilted her head, studying my face. "You look sad when the phone rings." Kids see everything. On Thursday afternoon, Chelsea posted something on Facebook, vague but pointed. "Sometimes family disappoints you when you need them most." Within the hour, 3 friends had texted me. "Is everything okay? Saw Chelsea's post. Are you in a fight with your family?" I turned my phone off. That evening, I sat with Lily on the couch and we watched her favorite movie, something about a princess and a dragon. She curled against my side, her small hand in mine. "Mommy," she whispered during a quiet scene. "Yeah, baby? Is Daddy watching us?" My throat tightened. "I think so." "Good," she said, squeezing my hand. "Then he knows we're okay." I kissed the top of her head and tried very hard to believe it, too. Friday morning, I put on my navy dress, the one Marcus always said made me look confident. I needed that confidence now. Mr. Kessler's office was downtown, in an old brick building with tall windows. It smelled like old books and furniture polish. A receptionist led me down a hallway lined with legal texts to a heavy wooden door with a brass nameplate. He stood when I entered, a man in his mid-50s, gray hair, kind eyes. "Mrs. Foster," he shook my hand firmly. "I'm so sorry for your loss. Marcus was a good man." "Thank you." I sat in the leather chair across from his desk. He opened a thick file folder. "Your husband came to see me 6 months ago. He was very specific about what he wanted." "He never told me." Mr. Kessler smiled gently. "He didn't want to worry you, but he wanted to make absolutely sure you and Lily would be protected no matter what." "Protected from what?" He slid a document across the desk. "This from people who might try to take advantage of your grief." I stared at the papers. "Last will and testament of Marcus Allen Foster. Everything goes to you and Lily, the house, all financial accounts, life insurance, investments. It's an airtight will.
Your parents have no legal claim unless they can prove undue influence or mental incapacity, which they can't. Relief flooded through me. So they can't take anything? They can try to contest it, he said carefully, but they'll cost them legal fees and they'll fail. Marcus made sure of that. He paused, then reached back into the folder. There's one more thing. Marcus left you a letter. He asked me to give it to you when this moment came. He handed me an envelope with my name written across it in Marcus's handwriting. My hands shook as I opened it. 2 pages, front and back, in his familiar messy scrawl, the same handwriting I'd seen on grocery lists, birthday cards, sticky notes left on the bathroom mirror. My dearest Rennie, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone, and someone is trying to take what belongs to you and Lily. I'm going to guess it's your parents, probably with Chelsea's support. My breath caught. I know your parents. I've watched how they treat you compared to Chelsea for 6 years now. I've sat through holidays where they gave her expensive gifts and handed you gift cards. I've listened to them praise her every accomplishment while dismissing yours. I've watched you smile through all of it because you didn't want to cause trouble. They'll come after this inheritance, not because they need it, but because they think you're weak and won't fight back. Tears blurred the words. Rennie, you are the strongest person I have ever known. You just never had a reason to prove it. You've raised our daughter with love and patience. You've made our home a home. You've supported my career without ever once complaining about the long hours or the stress. You are not weak. You are not incapable. And you deserve every single penny I worked for, because you worked just as hard making our family a family. I've set everything up so that you and Lily will be safe. Trust Mr. Kessler, trust the process, and trust yourself. There's a second envelope in my desk drawer at home, labeled for Lily's hands only. Give it to her when they come asking. She'll know what to do. I love you. I'm sorry I had to leave, but I promise I'm still protecting you both. Forever yours, Marcus. I folded the letter carefully and looked up at Mr. Kessler through tears. He knew, I whispered. He knew exactly what they do. Yes, Mr. Kessler said gently. He did. I drove home in a daze, Marcus's letter pressed against my chest inside my purse like a talisman. Lily was with a neighbor. Mrs. Alvarez had offered to watch her during my appointment. The house was silent when I walked in. I went straight to Marcus's office, which we hadn't touched since he died. His coffee mug still sat on the desk, half full and forgotten. His jacket still hung on the back of his chair. Photos of Lily lined the bookshelf. First day of kindergarten, gap-toothed smile, princess costume from last Halloween. I opened the bottom drawer of his desk. The envelope was exactly where Marcus said it would be. White, business-sized, Lily's name written in careful block letters. For Lily's hands only. When they ask. I held it up to the light. I couldn't see through the paper. Every instinct in me screamed to open it, to know what Marcus had planned. But the instructions were clear. Lily's hands, not mine. I heard the front door open. Mommy, Lily's voice called. Mrs. Alvarez brought me home. I stood quickly, slipping the envelope in my pocket. Lily appeared in the doorway. She looked at me standing in her father's office, and her expression softened. Do you miss Daddy? I said honestly. Every second. She walked over and hugged my waist. Me too. I held her tight. Lily, I need to ask you something. She looked up. Okay. If Grandma and Grandpa come back and they ask about money, I need you to give them something. Can you do that for me? She nodded seriously. What is it? I pulled out the envelope and handed it to her. She read the label slowly. This is for me. It's from Daddy. I wanted you to give it to them. Her eyes widened. When? You'll know when time comes. My mother called again on Sunday morning. This time I answered. Rennie, her voice was bright, relieved. Finally, sweetheart, we need to talk. I'm listening. Not over the phone. We're having a family lunch at our house this Sunday. Please come. I gripped the phone tighter. I don't think that's a good idea right now. Rennie, we need to resolve this. Uncle Ray and Aunt Diane will be there too. We're all worried about you." Uncle Ray and Aunt Diane. She was building an audience. This wasn't a family lunch, it was an ambush. "I'll think about it," I said.
"This isn't optional," my mother said, her voice hardening slightly. "Family needs to be together, especially after a loss like this. 1 o'clock. Don't be late." She hung up before I could respond. I stood in the kitchen staring at my phone. I could refuse to go entirely. I could ignore all of them. But something Marcus had written kept echoing in my head. "You are the strongest person I know. You just never had a reason to show it." Maybe it was time to show it. I called Lily downstairs. She came in still wearing her pajamas. "What's up, Mommy?" "We're going to Grandma and Grandpa's house for lunch next Sunday." Her face lit up, then fell. "Will they be nice to us?" The question broke my heart. 7 years old, already learning that family could hurt you. "I don't know, baby," I said, "but we'll be okay, I promise." If you've ever felt like you had to walk into a room knowing it might turn against you and you did it anyway to protect someone you love, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear stories like this one. Sunday arrived too quickly. I pulled into my parents' driveway at 12:55. 8 cars were already parked along the street. My stomach twisted. Lily held my hand as we walked to the door, the corner of the envelope peeking out of her small purse. Chelsea opened the door. "Rennie, Lily," she smiled, though it didn't reach her eyes. "Come in." The dining room was packed. Uncle Ray and Aunt Diane sat at the far end. My cousin Brett was there with his wife. My cousin Marissa waved at Lily. My parents stood near the kitchen talking in low voices. Everyone stopped when we entered. "Rennie." My mother hurried over, pulling me into a hug that felt entirely performative. "I'm so glad you came." My father gestured to 2 empty chairs. "Sit down. Let's eat first, then talk." The meal was silent in all the wrong ways. Polite conversation about weather, sports, Marissa's new job, but everyone kept glancing at me like I was a problem waiting to be solved. Lily ate her pasta quietly, her purse tucked beside her chair. After dessert, Uncle Ray cleared his throat. "Rennie, we heard about the inheritance. That's quite a sum." The room fell silent. Aunt Diane added carefully, "We're all family here. We should support each other." I set down my fork. "What are you saying?" My father leaned forward. "We're saying $500,000 is a lot of money for someone who's never managed finances before. And we're worried," my mother added, "about you making decisions while you're grieving." Chelsea spoke up. "We just think it would be better if the family helped manage it, for Lily's sake." I looked around the table. Every pair of eyes was on me, waiting, judging. This was the plan all along. Outnumber me, make me feel small. Lily's hand found mine under the table. My father stood up, his voice taking on that authoritative tone he used when he wanted to end a discussion. "Rennie, we've all discussed this. We think you're making a mistake keeping everything." "Discussed?" I repeated. "You discussed my husband's estate without me?" "We're trying to protect you," my mother said. Chelsea leaned forward. "You've never handled money before. What if you lose it all? What about Lily's future?" "Lily's future is secure," I said quietly. Marcus made sure of it. "Did he? Or did he just assume you'd have family support?" Uncle Ray shifted uncomfortably. "Walter, maybe she needs to hear this." My father cut him off. "Rennie, your mother and I raised you. We sacrificed for you. Don't we deserve something for all those years?" The room felt too small, too hot. My cousin Brett added, "My parents helped raise you too. They were always there for family events." I felt my face flush. "And where were you all at Marcus's funeral?" Silence. "Where were you?" I continued, my voice shaking. "Where were you when I called to say my husband was dead?" My mother's face went pale. "Rennie, we explained—" "You were at a birthday brunch," I said.
drinking champagne while I planned my husband's funeral alone. Chelsea stood up. That's not fair. We came as soon as we could. 3 days later, asking for money. We're asking you to be reasonable. My father's voice rose. Marcus didn't understand that family takes care of each other. He didn't know how we do things. You're being selfish, Rennie, Chelsea said, her voice sharp. The room went silent. Everyone stared at me, waiting for me to fold, to apologize, to give in. Lily's hand squeezed mine tighter under the table. Then she let go and stood up. Hey everyone, if you've ever been in a situation where your entire family stood against you at once, hit that like button so I know you understand exactly what that moment felt like. And if you want to see how a 7-year-old changed everything with one simple question, make sure you're subscribed, because what happens next is something nobody at that table saw coming. Now watch what my daughter did. Lily walked around the table toward my parents, her little shoes clicking on the hardwood floor. The room watched her with curious, uncertain expressions. "Grandpa?" Her voice was small but clear. My father's face softened immediately. "Yes, sweetheart? Can I say something?" "Of course you can." Lily reached into her purse and pulled out the white envelope, holding it carefully, the way she held precious things, like the rocks she collected from the park, or the drawings she made of her father. She walked up to my father and held out the envelope. "Daddy told me to give this to you when you came to ask." My mother frowned. "Ask for what, honey?" Lily looked up with those wide, innocent 7-year-old eyes. "For money. That's why you came, right?" The room went completely still. My father took the envelope slowly, his hand trembling slightly. "Lily, sweetheart, we're not here for money. We're here because we love you and your mommy." Lily tilted her head. "Then why did Grandma say you needed half?" I watched my mother's face drain of color. My mother started. "And why didn't you come when Daddy died?" Lily continued. "Mommy cried all night. I heard her." Aunt Diane's fork clattered against her plate. My father stared down at the envelope in his hands, at Marcus's handwriting staring back up at him. "To Lily's hands only, when they ask." Chelsea leaned over. "What is it?" My father's fingers fumbled with the seal. He pulled out 2 folded pieces of paper, a letter and what looked like legal documents. He began reading. His face went from pale to flushed and sickens. My mother grabbed his arm. "What does it say?" His hand started shaking. Chelsea snatched the letter out of his hands. "What does it say?" She scanned the first few lines and her face went white. "You can't be serious." "Read it out loud," Aunt Diane said quietly. Chelsea's hands shook. She cleared her throat. "To Walter and Judith Voss. If you are reading this, it means you have asked my wife and daughter for money after my death." The room erupted in whispers. "Keep reading," I said calmly. Chelsea continued, her voice cracking. "I knew this would happen. I've known for years how you treat Rennie compared to Chelsea. I've watched you dismiss her accomplishments and prioritize your younger daughter at every turn." My mother stood up. "This is ridiculous. Marcus had no right—" "Keep reading, Chelsea," I repeated. She looked at me, then back down at the letter. "I have left 100% of my estate to Rennie and Lily Foster. This is my legal right and my choice. They are my family. They are my priority." Uncle Ray leaned forward, listening intently. "If you attempt to contest this will," Chelsea paused, swallowing hard, "my attorney, David Kessler, has been instructed to release documentation of your refusal to attend my funeral." My cousin Brett's eyes widened. "You didn't go to the funeral?" Chelsea kept reading, her voice barely above a whisper. "Specifically, the call on the night I died, at 6:47 p.m., where Rennie informed Judith of my death, and Judith chose to remain at Chelsea's birthday brunch. This call was recorded as part of my emergency contact protocol. It is timestamped and verified." The room exploded in outrage. "You didn't go to his funeral?" Aunt Diane asked, her voice rising. "You knew he died and you stayed at a party?" Marissa stared at my mother. My mother tried to speak. It wasn't. We were going to, but... No one was listening anymore. Chelsea's voice shook as she continued reading. The call was recorded through my employer's emergency contact system. The timestamp is verified. The content is indisputable. My father grabbed the second paper, a photocopy of the will. His eyes scanned it frantically. Furthermore, Chelsea read, her face crumbling, any attempt to publicly shame Rennie or pressure her will result in this documentation being shared with your church community and extended family network. I do not make this threat lightly. I make it to protect my wife from people who have spent her entire life making her feel less than.
My mother sank into her chair. Marcus wouldn't. He did, I said quietly. He knew exactly what you'd do. Uncle Ray stood up abruptly. Walter, Judith, his voice was cold. You didn't attend your son-in-law's funeral? We were going to come later, my father protested. Chelsea's birthday was already planned. Ray's jaw clenched. Are you serious right now? Aunt Diane looked at my mother with open disgust. I was at that brunch. You never once mentioned that Rennie's husband had died. I didn't want to ruin Chelsea's day, my mother whispered. So you ruined Rennie's instead? Marissa spoke up, her voice sharp. She lost her husband and you couldn't even show up, and now you're here demanding money? Brett shook his head slowly. Chelsea set the letter down on the table, her hands still trembling. The will is legal, she said hollowly. Signed, notarized, witnessed. He left everything to Rennie and Lily. There's nothing we can do. My father stared at the papers. This can't be enforceable. The recording is entirely legal in this state, I said. I'd looked it up. Single-party consent. Marcus was on the call. He had every right to record it. The silence that followed was deafening. I stood up slowly. Lily immediately came to my side, slipping her hand into mine. Marcus knew this would happen, I said, my voice steady, because it's happened my whole life. Chelsea always got the attention, the support, the benefit of the doubt. Rennie, my mother started. I was the responsible one, I continued, the one who didn't need help, the one who'd figure it out. I looked at each of them in turn. But responsible really just meant invisible. It meant you could ignore me when it mattered most. My father tried to interrupt. Rennie, this is family business. No, Dad, this is my business. Marcus's will is legal. Mr. Kessler confirmed it. Everything goes to Lily and me, and there's nothing you can contest. We raised you, my mother said, tears streaming down her face. Doesn't that count for something? It does, I said honestly, and I'm grateful for it. But that doesn't give you the right to half of what my husband left for his daughter. Chelsea stood. Rennie, I didn't know they were going to... Yes, you did, I said quietly. You texted me about Marcus dying. You called it rough, like losing my husband was a bad day at work. She flinched. I picked up my purse. Lily and I are leaving now. If you want to contest the will, talk to your lawyer. But Mr. Kessler has the recording, the documentation, and a very clear set of instructions. Uncle Ray cleared his throat. Rennie, I think you're doing the right thing. Aunt Diane nodded. If I'd known, I would have been at that funeral myself. Marissa stood. Me too. I'm sorry, Rennie. I looked at my parents one final time. You made your choice on the night Marcus died. Now, I'm making mine. Lily and I walked to the door. Behind us, voices erupted into argument. How could you not tell us? That was Ray. Walter, this is shameful. Diane's voice, sharp with anger. Mom, Dad, you need to fix this. Brett's voice. I didn't stop. I didn't turn around. I just kept walking. My father's voice rose above the others. You're going to regret this, Rennie. I paused at the doorway and turned back just enough for him to see my face. The only thing I regret is not setting boundaries sooner. Lily tugged my hand. Let's go, Mommy. We walked to the car in silence. Behind us, I heard the front door slam, more shouting from inside the house. Lily climbed into her booster seat. I buckled her in, my hands surprisingly steady. "Mommy," she said as I started the engine, "are you okay?" I looked at her in the rearview mirror, my beautiful, perceptive daughter, Marcus's eyes looking back at me. "I'm more than okay, baby. I'm free." The drive home took 15 minutes. Lily hummed quietly in the back seat, already moving past what had happened. Kids are resilient like that. My phone buzzed as we pulled into the driveway. Texts were flooding in. "Marissa, I'm so sorry. I had no idea they did that. Ray, your parents owe you an apology. That was excusable. Diane, if you need anything, call us." And one from Chelsea. "Can we talk, please?" I silenced my phone. Inside, Lily went straight to the kitchen and poured herself a glass of milk. "What's for dinner?" "How about pizza?" I suggested. Her face lit up. "With extra cheese?" "With extra cheese." While Lily watched cartoons, I sat at the kitchen table and finally let myself breathe. Really breathe. For the first time in 3 weeks, I felt like I could. Marcus had protected us. Even in death, he had protected us. If you've had to cut ties with family to protect yourself or your children, leave a heart in the comments. I want you to know you're not alone in that decision. The first thing I did on Monday morning was block my parents' numbers, then Chelsea's. It felt like cutting off a limb, painful but necessary. I kept Ray and Diane's numbers. They'd proven themselves. Marissa's too. By Tuesday, I had an email from Ray. "Rennie, Diane and I support your decision completely. If you need anything, childcare, a meal, someone to talk to, we're here." I replied with 2 words: "Thank you." Wednesday, I made my social media private. I wasn't hiding, I was protecting my peace. Thursday, I posted something simple, visible only to close friends. Sometimes protecting your peace means disappointing people who never protected yours. 40-something likes, dozens of supportive comments. "You're so strong, Rennie. Good for you for setting boundaries. Your daughter is lucky to have you." Chelsea tried to reach me through Instagram. Her message sat unread in my requests folder. "Can we talk? I didn't know Mom and Dad were going to do that. I never wanted this." I left it unread. Friday evening, Lily asked the question I'd been dreading. We were sharing popcorn on the couch, watching a movie. "Mommy, will we ever see Grandma and Grandpa again?" I muted the TV. "I don't know, baby. Maybe someday, if they learn to respect our boundaries." What's boundaries? It means treating people with kindness and respect, even when you don't get what you want. She thought about this. Grandma and Grandpa weren't kind. No, they weren't. Did Daddy know they wouldn't be? I pulled her close. Yes, that's why he protected us. She was quiet for a moment. Then Daddy was smart. My eyes filled with tears. He really was. 2 weeks after the family lunch, a certified letter arrived. My parents were officially contesting Marcus's will, citing emotional distress and undue influence during estate planning. My hands shook as I read it. I called Mr. Kessler immediately. "They're really doing this?" "Yes, I received the same notice this morning," he said, his voice calm and steady. "Don't worry, they have no grounds whatsoever." The letter says they're grasping at straws. They have to prove Marcus was mentally unsound or that you manipulated him. Neither is true, and they have no evidence. So what happens now? I respond, I send them the documentation, the recording, the will, the affidavits from witnesses, and I include a warning about their potential legal costs if they continue. How much will that cost me? Nothing. Marcus's estate covers all legal fees for will defense. He planned for this too. I sat down heavily. He really thought of everything. He loved you very much, Mrs. Foster. By the end of the week, Mr. Kessler's response letter had gone out. Professional, thorough, devastating. The recording, time-stamped and verified, medical records showing Marcus's perfect mental health, statements from his employer, his doctor, and 3 friends confirming he was of entirely sound mind when he created the will. 1 week later, another letter arrived. My parents' lawyer was withdrawing from the case. The news spread through the family like wildfire. Marissa called me.
"Rennie, did you hear? Your mom and dad's lawyer dropped them." "I heard. Everyone knows now about the funeral, the phone call, all of it." She paused. "Aunt Judith tried to explain it at church last Sunday. It didn't go well." "I didn't ask for that," I said quietly. "You didn't have to. The truth has a way of getting out." That afternoon, my mother left a voicemail, her voice small and shaky. "Rennie, I hope one day you can forgive us. We made mistakes. We see that now." I saved the voicemail. I didn't respond. More came in over the following weeks. Ray told me several extended family members had stopped inviting my parents to gatherings. "Ray, the holiday invitation list is going around. Your parents aren't on it." "Ray, I never wanted—" "We know. But actions have consequences. They chose a birthday brunch over your tragedy. People don't forget that." Chelsea apparently told people she was taking a break and moved into her own apartment across town. Her Instagram went quiet. No more birthday posts, no more hashtags about being blessed.
I didn't feel victorious. I felt sad. These were my parents, my sister, my family. But Lily deserved better. And so did I. Mr. Kessler sent a final letter. "The case is officially closed. No further action will be taken. Your inheritance is secure." I framed Marcus's letter and hung it in his old office, a reminder that I had been loved, that I had been protected, that I was stronger than I'd ever known. I met with a financial advisor in the weeks that followed, a woman named Priya who specialized in helping young widows manage their finances. "You're doing better than most people in your situation," she said, reviewing my accounts. Marcus set everything up well. He was thorough. We set up a proper college fund for Lily, investment accounts, a trust she couldn't touch until she turned 25. Everything protected, everything planned. "What about you?" Priya asked. "What do you want?" I hadn't thought about myself in months. "I don't know." "That's okay. You don't have to know right now." I also started therapy, not just grief counseling, though we did talk about Marcus, but therapy to understand my family patterns. "You were the scapegoat," my therapist explained gently. "Chelsea was the golden child. It's a classic family dynamic. I always just thought I wasn't good enough." "You were always good enough, Rennie. They just chose not to see it." Lily started seeing a child therapist too, someone gentle and patient who used art therapy, letting her draw and paint her feelings. "She's processing well," her therapist told me after a few sessions. "She misses her father, but she feels safe with you. That's the most important thing." In the weeks that followed, I joined a support group for young widows, a dozen women, all under 40, all navigating life after loss. One of them shared, "I had to cut off my in-laws. They tried to take my house. Best decision I ever made." Others nodded. They understood. For the first time since Marcus died, I didn't feel alone. That evening, Lily started piano lessons, something Marcus had always wanted for her. I sat in the waiting room listening to her fumble through scales, and I cried, not from sadness, but from healing. Months passed. Lily was thriving at school. Her teacher said she was doing remarkably well considering everything. I started volunteering at the local library twice a week. It wasn't much, but it gave me purpose. Lily's 8th birthday arrived, and we planned a small party, just her school friends, Ray and Diane, Marissa. "Can we have a princess cake?" Lily asked. "We can have whatever you want." She hugged me tight. "I wish Daddy could be here." "Me too, baby, but he'd be so proud of you." After the party, Ray pulled me aside. "You're doing great, Rennie, really great. Some days are harder than others." "That's normal," he said, squeezing my shoulder, "but you're handling it. Lily's happy. That's what matters." Chelsea sent a birthday card for Lily, a gift card to a bookstore, and a short note. "Happy birthday, Lily. I miss you. Love, Aunt Chelsea." Lily looked at it, confused. "Can I use the gift card?" "Yes." "Should I say thank you?"
I thought about it. If you want to. She wrote a simple thank you note. I mailed it for her. Small steps. Maybe one day there would be more healing, but not yet. I ran into Chelsea at the grocery store not long after. She looked thinner, tired, older somehow. Rennie, her voice was quiet. Hi, Chelsea. Lily stood half behind me. Hi, Lily. You've grown so much. Lily didn't respond, just pressed closer to my side. Chelsea's eyes filled with tears. I know I can't fix what happened, but I'm sorry. I should have been there for you. You're right, I said evenly. You should have. Can we maybe talk sometime? Get coffee? I considered it. The old me would have said yes immediately, eager to smooth things over, but I'd learned something over the past year. I didn't owe anyone my peace just to make them comfortable. Maybe, I said carefully, but not right now. Lily and I are still healing. Chelsea nodded, wiping her eyes. I understand. I deserve that. Take care, Rennie. You too. We walked in opposite directions. Are you sad? Lily asked. A little, but that's okay. Do you think Aunt Chelsea is sad? Probably. Good. Then she paused. Is that mean? I squeezed her hand. It's honest, and sometimes people need to feel sad about the choices they made. Around the anniversary of Marcus's death, my mother texted, the first direct contact in 9 months. Rennie, it's Mother's Day next week. Can we see Lily? I stared at the message for a long time. I sat on the couch and thought about what I actually wanted. Not what they wanted, not what would keep the peace, what I wanted. The answer came quickly. I typed, not yet. When I'm ready, I'll let you know. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. No response came. That Sunday was Mother's Day. Lily made me breakfast, slightly burnt toast, scrambled eggs. It was perfect. Happy Mother's Day, Mommy. Thank you, baby. She handed me a card she'd made at school. Inside, you are the best, Mommy. Love, Lily. I hugged her tight and tried not to cry. After the party, Ray pulled me aside. You're doing great, Rennie. Really great. Some days are harder than others. That's normal, he said, squeezing my shoulder. But you're handling it. Lily's happy. That's what matters. Chelsea sent a birthday card for Lily, a gift card to a bookstore, and a short note. Happy birthday, Lily. I miss you. Love, Aunt Chelsea. I read it twice, then typed, thank you. Nothing more, nothing less. Small steps. Some months later, in therapy, my counselor asked me a question I'd never really considered. What do you want your relationship with your family to look like in 5 years? I opened my mouth to answer, then stopped. I don't know, I admitted. That's okay. You don't have to know right now, she said gently. But think about it. Do you want reconciliation? Distance? Something in between? Over the following week, I thought about it constantly. I imagined Lily at 13, at 18, at 21. Did I want her to have a relationship with her grandparents, with her aunt? Yes, but only if they changed, only if they earned it. I couldn't control whether they changed, but I could control my boundaries. At my next session, I said, I want the option of reconciliation, but I don't want to force it or rush it. I want them to prove they've changed before they're part of Lily's life again. That's fair, my counselor said. That's healthy. Is it? I asked. Sometimes I feel like I'm being cruel. Protecting yourself isn't cruel, Rennie. It's necessary. Today marks a little over a year since Marcus died. I'm sitting on the porch watching Lily play in the yard, running through the sprinkler, laughing. The sound fills me with joy. My phone buzzes. Another text from my mother. Rennie, please, we miss Lily. I look at it for a moment, then typed, I'm not ready. Please respect that. This time she responds, we understand. We'll wait. It's not an apology, but it's a start. Lily runs over, dripping wet.
"Mommy, can we make cookies?" "Of course, baby, let's go." She grabs my hand and pulls me toward the house. I look back at the yard, at the garden Marcus planted, at the swing set he built, at the life we made together. He's not here, but his love still is. Inside, we mix cookie dough. Lily gets flour everywhere. I don't care. These are the moments that matter. While the cookies bake, I think about the journey I've been on, from widow to something steadier, from someone who apologized for existing to someone who knows her worth. It wasn't easy. There were days I wanted to give up, days I wanted to just say yes to make everything stop hurting, but I didn't. For Lily, for Marcus, for myself. Lily pulls the cookies out of the oven. Perfect. Just like you, I say. That night, after Lily goes to bed, I stand in the doorway of what used to be Marcus's office, my office now. I've made it my own while keeping pieces of him, and I realize I'm not just surviving anymore, I'm living. If you're in a situation where family expects you to hand over what's rightfully yours, remember this: protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. Set your boundaries, honor your worth, and don't let anyone convince you that love means accepting disrespect. That's my story. If you've ever had to choose between family harmony and your own peace, drop a comment and tell me what you decided. I genuinely love to hear from you. And if you think someone in your life needs to hear this story today, please share this video with them. Thank you for staying with me through this one. I'll see you in the next silent victory story.
If this story touched something in you, please like and subscribe to this channel to support it. And don't forget to check the description below for more stories about setting boundaries, finding strength, and protecting your peace. Remember, you deserve respect, even from family. I'll see you in the next video.